The other day in Mombasa, President William Ruto was busy telling you guys how he had the powers to cut off the internet, but he actually did not do that. While in reality, on 25th June this year, when people were going to parliament, the internet was temporarily cut. Yeah, so there was an internet outage. Now, most people don't really understand why that actually happened and why the internet in Kenya was restored after a very short time, despite them intending to cut the internet for a very long period, and also despite the fact that there were more protests scheduled later in that week. Now, in this video, I'm going to break down for you what actually happened and why President William Ruto cannot dare turn off or create another outage of the internet in Kenya for, let's say, 2-3 days. He can't actually do that. Now, on 25th June, which I believe is the day the internet was actually cut in Kenya, you'll notice some few things. So there is this organization known as the NetBlocks that usually does a check of the internet traffic to different countries. So they published this image here. And on this image, you'll notice that the internet traffic to 3 countries, not only one, actually 3 countries. That was Kenya, Uganda, and Rwanda, and Burundi. Yeah, Kenya, Uganda, and Burundi had an internet outage, a complete internet outage. Now, while most people in Kenya were actually thinking that this internet outage was just specific to Kenya, in Uganda, MTN actually had released a statement around the same time Safaricom were doing the same, and the statement was quite identical. In Burundi, there was also an internet company that had already also issued a statement. The other countries, Tanzania, Rwanda, etc., had some issues with the internet, but not as much. Now, I've done some bit of research, and I'll just show you a map of how the internet cables that are serving East Africa are actually distributed. Now, there is this map here, and if you observe this map, you'll notice that there are 3 main cables that are servicing Kenya with the internet, and those cables come in from the Indian Ocean through Mombasa. Now, these cables actually go through Nairobi, then they proceed to Nakuru, then they find themselves through Bungoma, through into Uganda, and those cables go through Kampala up to Burundi. Now, that means if the same day we all had an outage, Kenya, Burundi, Uganda, it means the internet had actually been interfered with in Mombasa, at the point at which these internet cables actually get to serve the whole country. And that is why you realize that on that day, the internet in Burundi, Uganda, and Kenya was completely down. Now, if you go back to the image of NetBlocks, you'll notice that there was a slight issue with the internet in Tanzania and also in Rwanda. Now, you'll ask yourself, why is it that there was an internet issue in Tanzania and Rwanda, yet we do not share internet cables? Now, if you observe the internet cables across this map, you'll notice that some of them actually connect through Burundi and get themselves through Rwanda and back to Tanzania to this cable that actually goes to Dar es Salaam. Now, if the internet, there was an internet outage in Uganda, for example, and in Burundi, those companies and the institutions in Uganda would try and reroute their internet traffic through these cables that are going through Burundi and Rwanda and back to Tanzania. But these cables that come in from Tanzania are not well designed to handle such amounts of traffic. And as a result, you end up with a situation in which the data speeds that were serving Tanzania and Rwanda were very slow, that it was as if they also had an internet outage in Tanzania and Rwanda, and even some neighboring countries like Congo, etc. Yeah, and that is actually the reason why you had that whole internet outage. There is also another possibility that the internet cables that come from Dar es Salaam actually pass through Tanzania, pass through Mombasa, and interfering with the internet traffic in Kenya, in Mombasa actually also interfered with the traffic that is coming in from Tanzania. Now, immediately there was this internet outage. There were several calls that came in from Uganda and Burundi institutions, because you realize that Uganda is also a country. They have banks, they have institutions, and these institutions rely on the internet. And they had to make very many calls to Kenya asking what is happening. You know, we are being affected for things that do not really concern us. And as a result, the president and the country of Kenya had to restore the internet midnight, yeah, when people were busy asleep, despite the fact that they wouldn't really want to do that, but they had to do that. So the fact that the internet in Kenya will continue to function and has continued to function, despite the fact that the government might really wish to switch it off, is because our internet infrastructure is also servicing Uganda and Burundi. And those guys also have to, their life also has to continue. And if they feel they can't rely on the internet infrastructure from Kenya, they might switch to building internet infrastructure through Tanzania and will have lost business. So that is the main reason why that actually happened and why they can't actually switch off the internet in Kenya. So guys, avoid that all nuisance. People are telling you that the president would wish to switch the internet, but he can't because he respects no, it's not about democracy. That guy doesn't respect democracy. It is because he is cornered. If he switches off the internet in Kenya, there's a possibility that we lose business to Uganda and the business can go to Tanzania. So that is the main reason. Yeah, these all other stories are just utter nuisance. Now guys, if umefaidika na hii video in one thing or another, please guys, chini is a cabbage pale chini. There is my PayPal, I'll leave it over there. There is my phone number, I'll leave it over there. Give whatever you have to support the channel so that next time it is even much more interesting. We analyze more videos, we do a lot of content analysis and produce even much more videos that are of higher quality. I have to replace my camera, so that is very important.